I personally think physical media is great. Once you buy something, you own it for good. And one of my personal favorite formats to buy is VHS. And yes, I know, VHS is pretty dated these days. I'm well aware of that. DVD's pretty old too, but it's still being sold to this day. Now, the reason why I have such a soft spot for VHS is because I grew up with some of these. But for the longest time, I had no idea that Queen Greatest Hits got a VHS release. And I am a huge music freak, so as soon as I learned about it, I immediately jumped onto it. But that is not what we're here to talk about. Today, we are talking about this. Oh man, I never thought I would have this in my collection. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck is this thing? Well, before I get into that, let me give a little bit of a backstory. So, when Star Wars came out in 1977 in theaters, people went crazy for it, absolutely nuts. And as one news reporter stated, not since Jaws have so many people lined up to see one movie. That is how much of an impact this thing made. Alright, so back to the original question. What is this? Well, this is the first ever full home release of the movie. This rental VHS came out in 1982. Yes, that is right. This is a rental tape, so technically I shouldn't even be able to own this. But, people found a way. Oh, they have found a way. And so have I, because I haven't. So that's what the back looks like. It also says Video Rental Library. You're probably, wondering what the heck happened here. And honestly, I have no idea. It was already like this when I got it. And, you know, I did consider replacing the case, but the problem is, the clear part that covers the label, even though it's damaged here, it is still glued on this side. Now, you know, normally it would be glued on here and here. But for some reason, they have glued it on all the sides. So it's glued here, here, and here as well. So basically, I can't get that label out without basically cutting the plastic open, which I honestly just don't have the heart to do that, especially since this is the original box, you know? So I'm just gonna keep it as is. You know, I know someone's gonna disagree with me, but you know what? It's my copy. I can do whatever I want with it. Now, why don't we have a look at the actual tape? If I can... There we go. Wow, this is very, very different from any other physical VHS release I've seen. First off, it has this artwork. Well, not exactly artwork up here, but this blue label with a red Star Wars logo, and it's got a bunch of information in the middle. It also has the same deal going on the bottom. Now, you don't normally see Star Wars VHS releases with you know, a bottom label, a proper bottom label. Normally they're blank. One other interesting thing to note is that this tape in particular was manufactured by Scotch. This distributor, 20th Century Fox Video, who later became CBS Fox Video, they're well known for using different tape manufacturers. For example, I have two 1984 copies of this film, and one of them is Scotch and the other isn't. It's really weird. And in case anyone was wondering, yes, I have watched the tape just once. I understand the value of this tape. I didn't want to add any additional wear, so I only watched it just once, and I'm just gonna keep it in the box from that point forward. And some of you are probably curious, is there anything to note? Well, yes, there actually is. So first off, there is no promotional material whatsoever. And there's no extra logos or anything like that. Literally the first thing you see is the 20th Century Fox logo, which by the way has been altered for this release. It wasn't until 1995 when they finally went back to the original logo. And then 1997 happened, and well, that's a different story entirely. And another thing to note, that this release does have the Episode 4 A New Hope subtitle. Yes, they've had it as early as 1982. So keep in mind, this is the first ever VHS release. You literally cannot go back farther than this. So unfortunately, there is no VHS release that doesn't have the subtitle. So if you were looking for that, then sorry, you wasted your time. Another thing to note is that the soundtrack appears to be using the original stereo track. What does that mean? Okay, so in 1977 there were two audio tracks. The first one was in stereo, and a little bit later there was a second one known as the mono mix. It altered a few sound cues. One of the most notable differences, at least in my opinion, is that there is an entire line missing in the stereo mix. So if you've seen the movie, then you probably know the part where R2-D2 connects to the Death Star and is trying to find the controls to disable the tractor beam. During that moment, there is a line where C-3PO explains how to disable the tractor beam. But in the 1977 stereo mix, the original soundtrack, that line is completely missing. It's just not there, so that scene kind of stays silent for a little bit. And surprise, surprise, this release is also missing that line. I am going to try to show footage of that, but if this does get taken down because of that, then unfortunately you're not going to be able to see it, but I'll try.
He says he's found the main controls to the power beam that's holding the ship here. He'll try to make the precise location appear on the monitor.
I don't think your boys can help. I'm just go alone. Whatever you say. I've done more than I bargained for on this trip already.
And again, that is not the only thing that was unique to the original stereo mix. There are other differences, and there is a good comparison video on YouTube called, I think it was by SG10 Film Archive. He compared the stereo and mono mix, and it basically shows all the differences, all the little changes that were made. And I can safely confirm that aside from the 20th Century Fox fanfare using an alternate take, this is using the original 1977 stereo mix. So audio-wise, this has the least amount of changes. Or at least when it comes to VHS, as far as I'm aware. Now, personally, I wouldn't recommend picking one of these up unless you're a hardcore Star Wars collector like I am. Because, oh man, if you really want to get these, you better prepare to pay a pretty penny, because this is not easy to find. The video rental library release, yeah, good luck finding one of these in the wild. I should point out that obviously this is available on VHS because, well, you know, this is a VHS, hello. But also, this is available on Betamax, so if you happen to have a player for that, you can get it for that as well. Overall, really cool release. This is a pretty important piece of Star Wars history right here, and I am very, very proud to own it. It may not be in the best condition, but the fact that I even have this at all is just freaking awesome. If I had to sell my whole VHS collection and keep only one tape, it would be this one.